Aesthetic-wise, it's fine. I think we've opened that foot certainly opened up more for me, which is going to make the hips turn a lot more and give you that rotation. But in reality, if we sort of pinpoint these movements here now, so the club's going back, okay, there, it's in that kind of window we talked about, sort of back of your legs and the club. That one's gone a little bit more inside with the hands, but it's okay there, okay? Look at that position there now. You look at these here now. If I said to you which one of these is going to be the shank, which was going to be the good shot, at this point now, I wouldn't say there's a sort of stand out like, oh, that's definitely going to be the only difference really at setup was the foot I noticed there at the start, which, again, looking from this direction, you probably wouldn't have noticed it hadn't someone sort of showed you that in position. But as this one comes back to the golf ball now, coming back in, again, reasonable path hitting the ball there now for a long game, and the shoulder's nice underneath, but catching the hosel here now to the shank. And as you come to the golf ball here now, hands rolling over. When you exit the shoulders here, the hands here kind of up by that left shoulder. Whereas this one here, that feeling of kind of moving around and rotating, again, all very, very marginal. Again, much better strike of the golf ball. Look where your hands now exit. See? So when you finish this swing now and the club's in a sort of similar position, so where your hands are now, relative. So this one here is quite a high hand, which is more of a kind of that focus, which has been more the long game, kind of shifting, moving that way and releasing this way, whereas this one now is a little bit more cutting across it slightly as a feeling, okay? And that's going to be created more by the opening up of the foot, and then the shoulders tilted a bit more down that way. If you get too much tilt this way, your hands are now going to exit up high, you see, which is again the long game movement we're looking at, yeah? Your path with the drive before was coming out here and you get the old big old banana slice. So you've worked hard on getting the body to shift, the path to work more this way and get the golf ball flying. With the long game, as you said, has been pretty decent. And again, to go to an unfamiliar golf course and score the front nine what you did, your long game's obviously going to be pretty good. But you can see the difference in those two positions there, how your hands are kind of holding on to the angle, where that elbow looks a bit more kind of, like how your right hand's kind of rolled over a little bit.
My elbows on the body.
Exactly, yeah, this disconnect, exactly, yeah. So, and that's probably looks a lot more because it would be kind of here, I mean, even in when you bring it in there, but that one there's a lot more than you can actually see, because from the angle, if you were there, it'd be more that way rather than here. So, yeah, so you can spot it, but it would be even more so if we were looking kind of from sort of behind you here. Yeah, so it's keeping that connection with the arms, so the arms are working in and around the body as the body rotates. The engine always has to work. So that's the important thing. The body has to be rotating and moving if you want the club to work successfully. If you get a bit lazy with the body and the arms start kind of getting a bit flicky and rolly there, you can sort of see this motion, and there's not really as much body movement there as you saw kind of with that one. So the chest is sort of turning onto that a lot more. The hands are now working low left, whereas this one to me just looks a little bit more kind of flicky with the arms, sort of using the hands and the arms and the body as connected, and hence the reason why the shots were coming off the hosel. And again, the ones that shoot off here or even thinned on the ground, you were still catching it from the same spot on the golf club. It just depended on how much out of the hosel you hit it. If you caught the edge of the hosel, it would shank. Right in the middle of the hosel, it would just go on the ground as a top shot, yeah? So yeah, getting the handle to finish low left, keeping that connection, keeping it here. This sort of motion, yeah? We don't want that driven one, which, as you said, it worked over 20 yards. And there's going to be a world where you want to play a little tight lie, chip it 10, 15 yards. You can do that, yeah? You're still moving the body, but it's more of a steeper, dragging shot. Track the ball 50 yards, you can't do it. Unless you're at 7 iron. Yeah, so to get the fuller movement, the body has to be rotating to get that energy. So, okay, mate. Let's try a couple of longer clubs with this shot, okay? So you pretty much, I would say, I'll say this for the video, obviously, I think your 50, we'll call it a 50 degree club, but your 51 at a 50% swing length, which is kind of halfway, was going about 50 yards, wasn't it, yeah? So your 51 kind of gives you that sort of, that yardage sort of stock shot. So if you play like an 8 or a 9 iron, same sort of swing, it's going to come out a lot flatter, a lot lower, yeah? And then land on this green. If it does make it to the green, it'll land on the front and it'll roll all the way to the back of the green, you see, yeah? So the same movement, the arms going in and around the torso, hands are going to be exiting left and a bit lower, okay, mate?